Morning everybody, how are y'all doing today? I'm doing great because the Lord of Bruv Nation, Couple of Fools, has cooked once again. This time he cooked Reforge Gaming. Because in case you guys didn't know, Couple of Fools was a former PlayStation fanboy who around 3 weeks ago uploaded a video discussing how his wife got him a Series X and he tried it out and he ended up loving it. And recently Reforge Gaming reacted to the video. I don't think it was on stream, I think he watched it on his own, but he was talking about what he thought of it on stream, and as expected, he got a lot of stuff wrong, and Couple of Fools made a response in which he absolutely ripped Reforge to shreds. Which, speaking of getting stuff wrong, I got so many comments on yesterday's video saying that the 5070 isn't actually as powerful as the 4090. Like, yes, okay, I get it. I'm sorry, I know that was random and off topic. It's just annoying when you make a 40-minute video and half the comments are about a mistake you made at like the 1-minute mark. But whatever, I may have made that minor mistake, but at least I don't intentionally lie to people to try to make a plastic box look better, which is exactly what Reforge did in his reaction to Bruv's video. So then Bruv did a reaction to Reforge reacting to him, in which he completely obliterated almost every single argument Reforge made. I mean, just look at this clip right here. This is probably my favorite part of the entire video.
I can load games faster than you can load your damn argument, bruv. That's how fast the Xbox is. God damn!
So yeah, of course, link in the description, go watch the video yourself. But basically, Reforge saw this video very soon after it was posted, evidently, because only a few hours after this video went up on stream, he crashed out hard and basically started yelling at his chat because he was so upset that Bruv proved him wrong in like every single way. But here's the thing, I don't think Reforge actually watched the video. I think he just saw that the video was uploaded and then crashed out on stream. Because some of the points he's about to bring up in the clip we're gonna watch soon don't even really apply, but you'll see what I'm talking about in a second. So anyway, without me stalling any further, let's go ahead and get right into this.
Who cares? Like, I'm drawn by games and quality, and the entire reason that guy did a reaction video to me is because I said, yes, if you suddenly jump into the Xbox Series X 5 years into the gen and you get to enjoy an ocean of Game Pass games, you've not lived through the dark times of Xbox. You don't understand why 4 years into the gen, someone like myself stops using my Xbox, which was my main console, and started using my PlayStation more. You don't understand that because you're coming to PlayStation late. I'm sorry, you're coming to Xbox late.
And see, stuff like this is why I think he didn't actually watch the video, because if you actually watch Bruv's video reacting to Reforge, Bruv actually gave him credit for that point that he wouldn't quite understand why people would be pissed at Xbox because he showed up late and now he has all these games to play like instantly, so of course he thinks it's better. He gave him credit for that, but in this clip, Reforge is acting like he didn't. The main problem Bruv had with your reaction was your awful take on Quick Resume. Well, it wasn't even a take, it was just straight up misinformation. But also, I'd just like to point out something funny about what he just said, because Reforge is one of those people who talks about how it's like the end for Xbox, you know, the sales are plummeting, they can't continue to go on like this, there's no games, yada yada yada. But then right here he says there's tons of games to play and Game Pass is really good right now, which is why Bruv loves it so much. So which one is it? Because he basically just indirectly admitted how well Xbox is doing right now and how great Game Pass is, but he doesn't even realize it. How are you gonna make videos like this, but then also say, oh, of course somebody joining Xbox now would love it? Like, you can't have it both ways. Is it Xbover or is it not?
So, of course you think Xbox is great when you jump in 5 years in and you don't have to wait on the cadence of games. You get to boot up Game Pass and play Stalker 2 and Indiana Jones and Hi-Fi Rush and Forza Horizon. Just boom, 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 boom. You didn't have to wait 4 years to get 3 decent games. Like, my point was very fair to him. It was like, value is subjective. So yes, if you don't do anything with Xbox for 5 years and then you jump in, your experience is going to be different than mine.
Damn, for a console that doesn't have a lot of games, that sure does sound like a lot of games. But again, like, he straight up didn't watch the video, I'm convinced, because Bruv gave this point to him. He was like, yeah, you're right, value is subjective. But at the same time, you can't sit here and say how great Xbox is nowadays while simultaneously making videos and doing streams talking about how it's over for them. Like, he is actively changing how he feels about Xbox on the fly just so he can argue with Bruv. Here's a personal example of jumping onto something late and enjoying it. You guys might have heard of this game. It's called Escape the Backrooms. It's probably the most popular Backrooms game it just ever made. It came out in 2022 and wasn't great at the time, but as time has gone on, it's gotten massive updates that reworked things that weren't great, and it added tons of new levels to the game and just kept it fresh and interesting. And it's widely regarded now as the best Backrooms game out there. I did not play the game until April of 2024, after it had gotten all of its major updates and made all the changes. So yes, my initial experience with the game is going to be much better than somebody who initially played the game back when it came out. However, that does not change the fact that the game currently is great. What I'm getting at is just because Bruv jumped on Xbox late and you jumped on it early, that doesn't mean that Xbox should be doing terribly right now for you and great for him. Because by your own admission in this clip, there are tons of great games on Game Pass to play. So then why do you still feel so negatively about Xbox? Like, yeah, sure, in the past they've been doing poorly, but right now, by your own admission, they're doing pretty damn good. Just a reminder, this isn't even the bad part of the clip yet. Just wait until he starts talking about Quick Resume.
I mained Xbox. I couldn't wait for the Series X to come out. The cadence of first-party games was terrible. The quality of first-party games was terrible. They kept shipping games late. They kept shipping games at 30 FPS. They've been nothing but disappointment for 5 years. So of course you're going to come in late and get to skip over all the crap and have a better time. And then you're going to say, oh, Quick Resume's such a great feature. Not really. Not really. Pound for pound, point by point, it's not that great when you say, well, all you got to do is put your PlayStation in rest mode.
What? What are you talking about?
That's right. According to Reforge Gaming, putting your PlayStation in rest mode is the same thing as Quick Resume. Not even close. Quick Resume is not just putting your device in rest mode. It is being able to have multiple games open in the background at the same time and then quickly relaunch them without having to go through loading screens and all that crap. Every system, PC, PlayStation, Xbox, and the Switch can all go into rest mode with a game open. Quick Resume literally works if you unplug your Xbox and take it somewhere else and plug it back in. Want to know what happens if you unplug your PC or PlayStation with a game open? The game closes. And again, you cannot stack like 5+ games on top of each other in the background on PlayStation. I think in his original reaction to Bruv's video, he even said outright that like PlayStation has Quick Resume. No, it absolutely does not. I think we've got the Dreamcast guy effect here, where Reforge is from an alternate timeline where PlayStation actually does have Quick Resume, and he got mysteriously transported into this timeline, and he hasn't realized it yet. Like, that's the only way somebody could be this stupid, right? No, he's just a liar. Well, yeah, that makes sense too.
Quick Resume just feels like an evolution of rest mode. Yeah, like, if you want me to be compelled that like, hey, Series X is great, Xbox is actually pretty great, well, of course you think that when you come in 5 years later and you didn't have to suffer through 30 FPS Starfield at launch, Redfall at launch, which was a disaster regardless of 30 FPS or not. You didn't have to live through Halo Infinite. And looking forward, and I covered Halo Infinite a bunch, and we did community game nights with Halo Infinite. You didn't have to live through watching that game slowly die from ineptitude and destruction from Microsoft. So yeah, you want to strut into Xbox 5 years into the gen and act like I'm the fanboy because you're having a great time, and I'm like, well, yeah, of course you are. You missed out on 4 years of waiting and frustration and disappointment and terribleness.
Again, I just want to make this very clear. Xbox is doing great now, right? The terribleness is over. All right, I'm just going to save that for the future. You know, just in case he happens to say how bad they're doing again. But does anybody else get the vibes from this clip that, like, he just doesn't want Bruv to enjoy Xbox? Like, again, it's fine to say, oh, well, yeah, you missed out on all the bad stuff, but Reforge is almost acting like it's a bad thing that Bruv missed out on Xbox not doing as well. It's almost like he's jealous that Bruv just got introduced now and he's loving it. And plus, Bruv didn't miss out on that stuff. He was covering things like Starfield at 30 FPS. You're acting like he was completely oblivious to these shortcomings. He definitely wasn't. I mean, he literally made a video talking about what a joke it was that Starfield was running at 30 FPS. But even as somebody who was aware of Xbox's shortcomings, he still found himself loving it when he tried it for the first time. Because guess what? It's possible to acknowledge the rough past of something while enjoying the present. Damn, that was philosophical. Sun Tzu's got nothing on me. Call me Klutz Zoo.
You missed out on all of that. So you want to call me a fanboy and put me in your video? You go right the frick ahead. I hope you continue to have a great time on Xbox. But there are some of us that have been with Xbox since the 360 era. And this has been an incredibly disappointing generation. Incredibly disappointing. So you want to call me a fanboy because I walked away from my main console because the last 4 years have been a joke and the market represents that with how poorly the device has sold? You go right ahead and call me a fanboy. I don't care.
Well, I mean, evidently you do care because the crash out has already begun. Just note, I don't think he stops yelling for the rest of the video, so just get ready for that. But no, Bruv is not calling you a fanboy because you left Xbox because you weren't happy with them. That is a reasonable thing to do. You're not happy with a product, so you leave it and go to a different one. He is calling you a fanboy, one, because you have a documented history of being one, but also in your own reaction to his video, you tried to claim that PlayStation had quick resume and tried to downplay how great it was. You went full Reinhardt mode and put out your massive shield for Sony. Except instead of being a 7'1" Giga Chad who wants to protect his people from a robot invasion, you're just some dude in his 40s on the internet white knighting for a company because you can't possibly fathom the fact that Xbox has a feature that's better than something Sony has. Also, does anybody else find it how he moved from Xbox to PlayStation because Xbox has had a bad generation? Like, I'm just saying, it's pretty widely agreed that both companies have had pretty bad generations, at least in terms of games they put out.
Like, I'm just a consumer with standards. That's it. I have standards. And my main platform disappointed me for 4 years in a row, and I don't really turn it on anymore. Simple as that. If that makes me a fanboy, it sounds like you use labels because it's easier than accepting that maybe people are different than you. Like I did when I talked about him. I was like...
I just love how he's trying to portray this. Oh, well, you're calling me a fanboy because I have standards. No, 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 no. People call you a fanboy because you constantly defend Sony, no matter what it is. And saying they have quick resume and that putting your console to sleep is the same thing as quick resume is just objectively false. Play on whatever platform you want. I don't give a damn. Just don't cap for the companies when they don't deserve it. Luke, that's my roommate, by the way. I know you're probably watching this. If you had capped for the PS5 Pro when that thing got announced, I would have made a video roasting you. Okay, probably not, but still. I would have bonked you IRL. You only get labeled if the label fits. And it's safe to say it does fit. I mean, think about it. A former self-admitted PlayStation fanboy was roasting you and calling you a fanboy. Shouldn't that tell you something? If people from your own platform are calling you out, it's time to take a step back and reconsider things. Maybe he can admit he's wrong.
Yeah. Like that's ever gonna happen.
This platform is not doing it for me anymore. And you're not going to convince me. You're not going to convince me that like a quick resume. Oh yeah, I'll go over there and play old games, second party and third party games on Game Pass, I guess, because quick resume's so good.
Or, you know, you could play all the new first-party games that have come out over the last couple of years that support quick resume. But what am I talking about? Xbox has no games, right, guys? Even though he admitted earlier that they're doing much better now, and anybody who's joining Xbox for the first time would love it.
Said he had standards, you don't, and you lack rational thinking. Have you falsified a single one of the things that I've claimed? I'm talking about my experience with Xbox, and it's so triggering to insecure people like you. You're insecure. You're like a little boy who, when someone says something you don't like, you just say, oh, well, you lack rational thinking. I lack rational thinking. I had an enormous library on Xbox that I built over the years from 360 into the Xbox One era. Had a bunch of games in my backlog of backwards compatibility games that I played with my wife, memories of games that I played with my wife, born in co-op and Xbox arcade games. And I walked away from making that my main platform because they weren't delivering on what I was promised.
Yo, I don't know who it was in his chat who said that he lacks rational thinking, but round of applause for you, sir, or ma'am, or whoever. You say other people are insecure and get triggered, but you are so mad right now, it's hilarious.
Tom, if irony were made of strawberries, we'd all be drinking a lot of smoothies right now.
And even more ironic that he's calling other people little boys who scream that other people can't think rationally, when that is exactly what he does when people disagree with him. But dude, again, nobody is saying you lack rational thinking because you switched to another platform because you were disappointed with the one you were on. The issue is you were so upset that Bruv loved Quick Resume that you tried to blindly claim PlayStation had it and say that sleep mode was the same thing. That is not a rational argument whatsoever. That is being a fanboy, which is exactly why you get labeled as one.
They weren't delivering on what I was promised. You want to talk about rest mode? You know what you sound like? All those weirdos who coped with the lack of games the first 3 or 4 years, and they just talked about FPS boost. And the Series S has more 60 FPS games than the PlayStation because of FPS boost on backwards compatible games. You're talking about features. You know what I don't do when I boot up my PlayStation 5 Pro? I don't play features. I play games.
And I must ask, what games are you playing? Because if we're going by the argument that lack of first-party games means no games whatsoever, then I can only assume you're replaying Astrobot for the 50th time. Also, it's funny he mentions he has a PS5 Pro, when that console didn't launch with any new games or anything. The whole reason it exists is a new feature, that being PSSR. Like, he's making fun of people coping over FPS boost and using that as like an excuse for not having many first-party games. But what has Reforge been doing recently? Coping over PSSR and talking about how it enhances older games that everybody's already beaten. Like, it's hilarious that it's cope for people to point out FPS boost on old games, but then Reforge endlessly caps for the PS5 Pro, which just boosts games that he's already played and beaten, and is not boosting any new Sony games because there's nothing coming out. Rules for thee, but not for me, I suppose.
So you can talk about quick resume or smart delivery or FPS boost all you want. There's no games over there, and the ones they ship aren't at quality.
So now all of a sudden there's no games on Xbox, even though earlier he admitted that anybody jumping in now would be having a great time because of all the games on Game Pass. This whole clip that I got was 8 uncut minutes. He couldn't even stick to an argument for 8 minutes. And plus, Xbox released more games than PlayStation did in 2024, and it seems like they're gonna release more than them in 2025. So the no games argument doesn't even work because the console you're defending doesn't even have anything coming out. Xbox just dropped Indiana Jones exactly a month ago. By the way, where is the second patch? I still cannot 100% the game. And you're gonna sit here about how Xbox has no games when PlayStation released, what, 1 game in 2024? And it was just them dancing on the grave of all their old IPs that they could be making games with. Get out of here with your no games argument, dude.
You go play your games at 30. Enjoy Avowed at 30. Enjoy Hellblade 2 at 30. Enjoy waiting for 60 FPS to come to Starfield and Redfall or Forza Motorsport to take like 7 months to fix itself. That's what you get on that platform. Games late and games not at quality.
So, what I'm hearing then is that Xbox does in fact have games. Pick an argument. Do they have games or do they not? Oh my god, this is why people say you're not thinking rationally. Forget what I said about not even being able to hold on to an argument for 8 minutes. You couldn't even do it for 8 seconds. But I guess now the argument is, oh, Xbox has games. They're just not quality. Even though Indiana Jones is better than most of the PlayStation games that have come out this gen. Not all of them. Helldivers 2 is still better, but that's really it.
If that makes me a fanboy, I don't frickin' care. Because that's not what I was promised this gen. I was promised the Series X and Project Scarlet. I was promised heat and fire. I was promised amazing games at quality, and I didn't get it. That's it. It's that simple. And if you don't like that, I don't care. And if that makes you call me a name or call me a fanboy or say that I lack logical thinking, I don't care.
I mean, you quite clearly do care because you are yelling and screaming and crashing out over this. You got mad at somebody for saying you lack rational thinking and then immediately proceeded to prove it when you contradicted yourself from a few minutes ago. Congratulations, you played yourself. Switching platforms because your platform has disappointed you is understandable and completely fine. Continuing to despise the platform even though it has gotten visibly better and you accidentally admitted it earlier is what makes you a fanboy. I hope that makes sense. I have tried to make this as crystal clear as possible. What am I saying? He probably didn't even watch this. He's too busy getting mad at Gara.
That's what I did as a consumer. And if that's what you want to do as a consumer, you want to sit over there and act like everything's fine and act like Xbox hasn't visibly and tangibly deprioritized the console, you go right ahead. You'll wake up in a couple of years and realize that nobody was being a fanboy. People were just naturally magnetizing somewhere else because they weren't getting what they wanted.
Where did the deprioritization of the console come into this? Like, you just completely pulled that out of your ass. The console still gets all the games day one, and they still go into Game Pass day one. Like, obviously, they're not focusing as much on the console because they're trying to expand into, you know, the whole brand of PC and maybe PS5 and Switch as well. But the way you say it, you make it sound like the console's just gonna vanish in a year. They're still making console hardware, the hardware is still getting supported, and it's not just gonna magically vanish. Phil Spencer is not going to break into your house with a SWAT team and hold a gun to your head demanding the Xbox back. But damn it, I wish Phil Spencer would hold himself against me.
Hey, yo!
And on that note, I'm gonna end the video here. Yelling at idiots makes me hungry, so I'm gonna go make a sandwich. But before I do, I just want to quickly say thank you all so much for watching. Like the video if you liked it, dislike it if you didn't like it, subscribe if you want to see more. Join us every Friday night, 9 p.m. Eastern for Salt streams. Trust me, they're a great time. Everybody bullies me for allegedly being a furry. It's great. And I will catch you all next time.